Dear students, let us begin with the second part of the lesson on Indo-Russian relations in the post-Cold War period, in which we will learn about the Kargil crisis and India-Russia cooperation in vital areas. Kargil crisis. In 1999, Pakistan soldiers and Kashmir militants infiltrated the Kargil district of Kashmir on the Indian side of the line of control. This resulted in armed conflict between India and Pakistan. During this conflict, Russia supported India, which provided an impetus for growing Indo-Russia strategic cooperation. Russia has been a staunch supporter of India since the commencement of the Kargil crisis, urging Pakistan to remove infiltrators from the Indian side of the LOC. As a first move towards bilateral dialogue, the Russian Foreign Ministry issued the three statements criticizing Pakistani interference and appealing for the restoration of the LOC's sanctity. While the majority of countries supported India's position and praised the country's tolerance, Russia was the only major power to clearly refer to Jammu and Kashmir as an Indian state. This reinforced Russia's strategic ties with India. India appreciated Russia for condemning Pakistan's infiltration and denounced Islamabad's action as an invasion. Russia has persistently rejected internationalization of the Kashmir issue, citing the Simla and Lahore agreements as the sole basis for addressing the concerns between India and Pakistan. India appreciated Russia's help and acknowledged it. Furthermore, Russia committed to supplying India with its latest weapons, which it had not previously delivered or sold to anyone. This demonstrates the two countries' continued friendship as well as Russia's view of India as a strategic ally. The Kargil conflict transformed the Indo-Russian relationship from a Cold War era defense partnership to a broader strategic cooperation with a focus on regional stability and counter-terrorism efforts. India-Russia in 21st century. Yeltsin resigned from the office in 1999 and Vladimir Putin, Prime Minister, took over the office as his successor. While he was in power, Putin paid an official visit to India in October 2000. Both countries devised a plan to put their bilateral relationship on a new foundation by rewriting previous bilateral cooperation agreements. Putin and Vajpayee signed a declaration on strategic partnership for long-term Indo-Russian relations in all aspects of mutual cooperation like political, defense, economic and trade, science and technological and cultural spheres. Besides that, 10 agreements covering various aspects of bilateral relations were also signed. The Strategic Partnership Agreement institutionalized annual meetings between both sides. Since then, both countries have been holding regular meetings. Also, the joint statement issued at the conclusion of the bilateral talks affirmed Indian and Russian positions on various bilateral, regional and international issues. President Putin pledged Russia to enhance atomic energy cooperation with India, breaking the long-standing international nuclear blockade on India. The two countries agreed to non-participation in any military, political or other alliances or associations or armed conflicts directed against the other side, or in any treaties, agreements or understandings infringing on the other side's independence, sovereignty, territorial integrity or national security interests. The Putin visit was reciprocated by the Indian Prime Minister Vajpayee's visit to Russia in November 2001. In the second visit of President Putin to India in December 2002, both countries signed a declaration on further consolidation of strategic partnership between them. These visits have resulted in the signing of numerous agreements encompassing political, defense, economic, legal and cultural aspects of their relations. The close relationship between India and Russia has been maintained since Manmohan Singh occupied the office of Prime Minister. Both Putin and Manmohan Singh urged for a multilateral approach to handle contemporary difficulties during the 2005 meeting and also agreed to work together to combat international terrorism. The bilateral ties between India and Russia were upgraded to special and privileged strategic partnership from strategic partnership in December 2010. This upgrade underscored the exceptional nature of the relationship, emphasizing its strategic importance. So far, 20 annual summit meetings have taken place in India and Russia, alternatively which was held regularly since 2000. The last summit, 20th India-Russia bilateral summit, was held in September 2019, for which Prime Minister Narendra Modi had visited Vladivostok. During the meeting, along with several bilateral agreements and joint statements, it highlighted the importance of expanding Russian partnership in Make in India and Indian investments in Russia. It also discussed about working towards eliminating barriers in mutual trade and promote the continuation of mutual settlements of payments in national currencies. Narendra Modi has also made a defense deal of worth $14.5 billion during his visit. But for the first time after 20 annual summits since the 2000, no summit was held due to the spread of COVID-19 since 2020. However, there are speculations that Moscow expressed its objection on New Delhi joining in the Indo-Pacific construct and tilting more towards the United States. In response to a rising force in its backyard, India had already begun to strengthen ties with the United States. In Russia, after the Ukraine conflict and annexation of Crimea and the consequent deterioration of their relations with the West, Russia has become increasingly reliant on China both economically and strategically. The ongoing tension between New Delhi and Beijing, as well as the former developed ties with Washington, have got a lot of attention, but its relationship with Moscow is undergoing a more intricate but less noticed stage. This trend has increased in the recent past as the political divisions over Afghanistan have grown. India teamed up with the three Western powers, the United States, Britain and France, at UN Security Council meeting recently to put out some strong demands regarding the Taliban. Russia, on the other hand, joined China in trying to soften the tone of the Afghan resolution and abstain from voting on it. India-Russia areas of cooperation. Trade. Trade has been identified as the core issue of discussion in each summit between India and Russia. The trade relations between both countries have demonstrated the corporate sector's willingness and capacity to significantly deepen economic, trade and investment ties. India and Russia have signed a memorandum of understanding to fast track the development of the international north-south transport corridor. The corridor is a crucial initiative aimed at improving connectivity between India and Russia via Iran. It is designed to facilitate faster and more efficient transportation, reducing transit times and costs. Both sides evaluated and applauded the progress made toward the goal of increasing bilateral trade to $30 billion by 2025, which was achieved by 2017. A new target is set for $50 billion by 2025. The Eurasian Economic Union and its member states as well as India commenced discussion on a free trade agreement. The concept of speeding up the negotiation process was backed by both parties. The Indian Institute of Foreign Trade and the All Russian Academy of Foreign Trade have been selected to collaborate on a joint study to improve trade and economic connections as well as investment collaborations, fostering greater understanding of trade dynamics and identifying avenues for investment collaborations. India-Russia cooperation on science and technology. It was discussed how to improve cooperation in the field of information and communications technology in the following areas: electronic system design and manufacturing, software development, supercomputing, public service delivery and network security, security in the use of information and communication technologies, fintech, the internet, standardization, radio control and regulation, and the radio frequency spectrum. The fintech sector holds significant potential for collaboration as both countries seek to advance digital financial services. Both countries also agreed to restart cooperation under the Government of India and the Government of Russian integrated long-term program for cooperation in science, technology and innovation. A roadmap was developed for future collaboration between laboratories, academia, universities, institutions and organizations in mutually beneficial scientific and technical sectors. I hope you understood about the Kargil crisis and India-Russia cooperation in vital areas. We will continue to discuss further in the next video. Thank you.